So hi, today the main topic is why do we need bundler? So if you're like front end engineer, and if you're like React developer, Next.js developer, and you might think, why do we need Webpack, or why do I have to use some kind of Turbo Repo or those kind of things, like Turbo Pack or whatever bundler? And so I'm just gonna give you like simple example, and I'm gonna like go deep about what is bundler, and I'm gonna elaborate more about this. So what is the so what happens when we don't use bundler? So the before begin, you have to think about the what's the background of it. So like right now, we commonly use JavaScript module, and there's like script src. It was like attribute. Yeah, it was like attribute, and there was like it is module, or it is like, I think there's more of it. I think there's module and whatever's async and differ, blah blah. And right now, we commonly use this module attribute, and the reason why we use this module attribute is because it's kind of really because of the technology. In the technology is being rapidly evolved. Like our web applications is really kind of really the feature mostly in our like 2025 web application, and there's like it's really kind of like big, or there are a lot of high quality feature in the web application, even though it is part of web. So it's like more, there's a lot of feature that has like there has really big technology, rather than like better than the mobile app. But to make that stuff, we have to think about different way. There's a JavaScript. Let's say this is JavaScript, and rather than you put this whole JavaScript in one single file, there's a lots of JavaScript. JavaScript is just like logic in your web application of it. It's like brain of it. There's a big chunk of it. It's really big. The JavaScript is really big. There's a thing you have to consider when you user first enter the website. You have to renders your user will have to renders your web page using first HTML and like CSS JavaScript. HTML is kind of lightweight, but what if the JavaScript is kind of really big here? There's a bunch of JavaScript, but you collect it, you put it to one file. That's kind of good, but what if there's a lot of JavaScript? There's a lot of JavaScript file, but you have to put into your single web application of it. The first thing you have to consider of is your JavaScript can relate into other JavaScript. Your JavaScript can have relationship of the other JavaScript, and there could be like parent and child relations of it. And since if you're using this script tag with the module attribute, you have to think about the scope of your variable based on the importing some kind of the module script tags. Based on this kind of like the position of the lines could affect in the scope of the variables. So what you have to do is you have to think about there's gonna be like there could be relationship problem, because if you just mess out of the JavaScript chunk without thinking about ordering it, there could be big issue of your application of it. And also, one other problem is that if there's like 1,000 or 1000 JavaScript chunks. And 1000 JavaScript chunk, and you need 100 JavaScript chunk in your first page. In your first page, after HTML CSS is loaded, the bunch of JavaScript code is being evaluated. I just say 100 JavaScript chunks. So example, there's a JavaScript 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or whatever stuff. So there's gonna be waterfalls of it. If JavaScript is done, this next JavaScript is gonna be done, this next JavaScript done, and this next JavaScript gonna be done. Well, we can just make it into like this, but there's a limitation of it because like browser HTTP request only handles 6 requests per time. So, but what if, to solve the issue, we merge this kind of JavaScript chunk into one pieces of it? So we don't have to think about the scope of the variables. We have to think about the performance of the while importing a bunch of JavaScript code. We don't have to think about waterfalls of it. So that's kind of really why bundler is important. Bundler is doing those kind of thing, but that is not the bundler thing. The more important thing about bundler is, if you look at the bundle process, the bundler process basically is very simple. Collection, make dependency graph, dependency graph, you transpilation and optimization. I don't know how to spell transpilation. I don't know. So let's say, so this is kind of bundler process, bundler steps of it, bundler steps. So let's see. I'm gonna give you an example more. So there are a bunch of JavaScript, and there's a root JavaScript here. Let's say this is the root. The collection is that based on the root, there's gonna be some kind of dependency of it. So we know that. We know there's a relationship between the root JavaScript and a lot of child JavaScript. The collection means that gets all of the JavaScript that relate to the root JavaScript. And after we now know that these are related, and we have to make a dependency graph. If there's like another JavaScript chunk, if the JavaScript chunk is not part of this dependency graph, we can just delete this JavaScript chunk because it's not unnecessary. It's not necessary. And transpilation is mostly we migrate from the browser friendly syntax of it, the ES6, ES7, and whatever thing is, we could have problem that our users browser version is kind of low. We have to normalize those kind of browser version, but as a developer we cannot really care about it while developing our application of it. So we say the bundler, you transpile into browser friendly syntax that normal people can readily use despite of version issue. And also mostly we use TypeScript, which is JavaScript with the type language of it, but the browser can understand only JavaScript. So we have to make the TypeScript into JavaScript, and that's what transpilation it is. For the transpilation, we use Babel of it. After transpile it into the JavaScript, we trying to make it optimization of it. We do optimization. It's also called the tree shaking. That's called elimination, and also minification and compression of it. What do you mean minification and compression? Let's say I'm gonna give you an example. I don't know, you guys are like friendly of the GitHub website. This GitHub website, if you look at the network tab here, if I refresh, okay, there's a lot of Java the chunk of it. And if you look at header, and you might see the content encoding. So what is content encoding? This is kind of how it is compression is. So we have to compress into not JavaScript. We need to compress into the browser syntax with the encoding. We have to encode with the compress it to reduce the file size of it. So we normally use gzip or the Brotli or whatever stuff. So that's in the bundler, the optimization, it does everything. The compressions is do the compression part, and also there's another option of the minification of it. The minification means that it reduces the line of your code. Let's say your line is let's say const variable const name equals the Merlin, and there's a bunch of lines of it. Since this is kind of a really nice file, but to reduce the, if you make your line code into more like reducing the space like this, it will be more lightweight. So this is why we need to use the minification, and also the bundler do the minification, which is called I forgot the word of it. I forgot the library name, but I think there's a library name, but minifier. I forgot it. Whatever. And that's why we need the minification. And so that's kind of really explanation about like optimization part. I know there's some more, but I'm just gonna do this. And if you have, lastly, if you think about, if you have like time, I better recommend you to use some kind of JavaScript library and make your JavaScript file into minified version. To use it, you might get question, what if I want to debug? If you want to debug, you can also put the source map option of it, and you might give question of what is source map? Why do we need source map? If we're trying to open like HTML, if you're trying to use like Reg and Next.js, there's gonna be the CSS.map. What is that map? So this is also called the source map, because if we reduce this kind of these lines via via the minification, we commonly use the Terza library, and it is really hard to debug because which is already there's no space, and it's kind of really hard to track which line is causing the bug of it. But using source map, it seems like there's wrong with your lines, but under the hood is already the code with no unnecessary space. So I think this is it. This kind of really this video was explaining about why do we need bundler in the front-end web development, and what is Terza and whatever stuff, and what is the bundler process of it. So I think this is it. Have a nice day. Next time. Bye bye.